shattering, to be honest. But they sit top of the table for XG. Now, it means...
He scores. Pick up the phone.
Some of them have been really unlucky, but also some of them have been crap.
What three better players in the league to control a game of football than those three?
But at least a guaranteed $1 million at the end of it.
Now look here, he's going to everyone go in.
What is the charge?
Oh, that is special. Unbelievable. This, ladies and gentlemen, is football.
Hello and welcome back to Total A-League. It's great to be back with you in 2026. I'm Vince Rugari, Tommy Orr, Daniel McBreen. New year, same us.
Yep.
What's cracking, guys?
Missed a lot of football. So there were so many games in the last few weeks, so it was great. Always seemed to be a game on when watching at home over the break. So
how good is just that period between Christmas and New Year's where days don't matter? You actually don't know what day of the week it is.
It's true.
Meals don't matter. Like the idea of 3 separate meals is no longer a thing. You're just eating all day, drinking all day, watching cricket all day usually, and then about 6 o'clock hits and it's like, oh, we'll see what's on tonight. And there's been A-League on pretty much every night that I've wanted it to be on through this period. It's been bloody good too.
It has been very exciting, but my mental capabilities and my body are starting to think that maybe it wasn't that great.
that was before.
I enjoyed
that
it.
was before.
While I was there, I enjoyed it, but now I've got to do something about it.
Yeah. Well, let's take stock then. Let's drop our moments of the Christmas New Year period, our favourite moments. Macca, you can start. And to be honest, you got everyone's favourite one.
I jumped in very quickly on this one, didn't I? Boxing Day match, Macarthur versus Newcastle, or Newcastle versus Macarthur, a 9-goal thriller. And going into this game, we were talking about Macarthur can't score goals. Well, certainly we saw some absolute
what a goal that was.
bangers.
Unbelievable.
Those first two there in particular, you could see that anywhere around the world and people would be talking about them. But it was so exciting. There was so much action. It went from end to end. Just when you thought the Jets were going to come back, this guy keeps delivering.
That was the moment when I thought, this is not just a good A-League game. This goes into the pantheon.
It goes into the annals of history. I did ask him before the game, what do you got for me? He said, I'll work something out. Controversy as well here at the end for the winner in, the 96th minute.
Yep.
We thought we
What
couldn't
a
get
pass,
any more.
by the way.
It was.
Anthony Caceres is back.
Yeah.
And it was a good breakout game for him as well, Vickery.
And it kind of summed up Newcastle's season in one game.
Yeah.
It was just chaos, and sometimes they've been on the good end of it, sometimes the bad end, but it's pure entertainment.
Yeah, so good.
Which leads me to my moment.
Please, Thomas, please.
Which was also the Jets, but against Auckland.
Yeah.
Finding a way to win this game. The first 20 minutes of this game, they were playing some beautiful football. I think some of the best they've played this season. Great goal from Lockie Rose there. But then going down to 10 men after 20 minutes and finding a way to keep Auckland out. They were so good defensively in this game, which they haven't been so far this season. They've conceded the most goals by far. I think it was everything they showed everything they haven't up to this point, and I think they'll take so much confidence from that performance because if they can combine that kind of defensive resilience with the football they've already shown they can play, they're going to take some beating.
Lockie Rose is finding his scoring boots.
Yep.
I bet him at the start of the season that he wouldn't be A-League Golden Boot,
Yep.
carton of beer. At first I was rubbing my hands together and now I'm thinking I better start putting my pennies away because he's making a good charge for it.
And I told him as well, he doesn't have to hit the bottom corner when there's no goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Yeah, how good.
What was yours?
Mine was Wellington versus Brisbane. This one had a fair bit to it as well. First of all, it was at Redcliffe, KO Stadium, I believe it's called, which is, not in the Brisbane city limits, as we know, but is still the best boutique-y sort of stadium available in southeast Queensland. This had the makings of a bit of a grudge match. Carlo Armiento playing against his former side, Wellington really needing a result, Brisbane Raw, just, you can sort of turn on a match and you're going to know at some point this game is going to turn into a scrap somewhere. There was one, I think. There was one last night as well, which we'll get to as well. I'm sure that's just a narrative that's being contrasted or confected by outside forces. That's not just a reflection of reality. But a massive result for Wellington, and great to see Chiefy afterwards as well. He's been under the pump this season.
Emotional.
Yeah.
Emotional, and you can't help but see that and think like, oh, good on you, mate. Like,
Yeah, 100%. And it also stacked up with the new thing this year where if you get a man sent off, you're pretty much going to win the game.
Yeah.
8 games out of 10 now that someone's had a player sent off that they've gone on to win it. Normally it's 1 in 5 or 1 in less.
Yeah.
So something's happening. The spookiness is starting to happen for red cards.
It's just the best league in the world doing what it does, mate. Just strange things happen all the time. Can you predict anything? No, I have no idea who's going to do anything. The ladder is so tight. These are the things that make the A-League so great. So into what's ahead of us this weekend, and you can't go past the first match between Juan Mata's Melbourne Victory and his old side, the Western Sydney Wanderers. There's so much in this, which we will unpack. But we'll start with the Victory side of things, and they're flying, boys. What's happened here? Because it doesn't feel like too long ago we were sitting at this desk talking about is Arthur Dillers the man? Do they need to sign a new striker? What's going on here? Why is everything breaking down? Virgos is scoring goals. Mata's assisting them. Dillers is the seat's no longer hot for him. And they're one of the form sides in the comp.
They are. I think, there were glimpses earlier in the season, but they weren't able to string it together for 90 minutes and, importantly, convert it into goals. And I think that was the thing that has changed. Virgos found his goal-scoring form, which you spoke about in the last episode, and since then
Get a couple, you roll.
Exactly. And I think, Velupile coming back.
Massive.
And Louis Dorigo in the midfield.
The man who just scored that last goal there, he's sort of... I always rated him as a player at Adelaide as well. Probably took the wrong move to go to... I think he went to Poland.
Yep.
Didn't quite work out, came back to Victory, which is always a dangerous thing to do for an ex-Adelaide United player. But he's grown into this side.
And he gives them that balance because, beforehand, I think he's that ball winner. When you got the ball winner of him, obviously Juan Mata in the midfield is a bit of the brains and the thinker. And you got Genro and Valadon kind of linking both of them together. I think the balance is really good for them. Yeah. And defensively as well, I think they look a lot more assured than they were earlier in the season. If you'd think back to the game against Newcastle where they were completely blown out of the water, that's not really happening anymore. No. So I think it's all over the pitch they've improved, and they're just a team that's brimming with confidence at the moment. Yeah,
confidence goes a long way, doesn't it? And I honestly do believe that Nishan Velupile's energy when he came back just lifted the team along with Dorigo being that balance to all the technical players going forward. And I just think that it just brought everyone with them. Yeah. And then everyone was like, all right, this is the team we knew we could be. And now they're flying. And good luck to them because... we gave it to them at the start of the year and they've really turned it around.
Yeah. One of the blokes we've mentioned there, Denny Genro, let's hear a little bit from him now talking about his stint outside of the team and also what it means for him and the rest of the Victory boys to be playing with Juan Mata.
How much were you stewing on what happened in Brisbane over the last month? Was that difficult time for you to get over and make your way here tonight?
Yeah, for sure. I think maybe that was like a moment in what's been a difficult year for me. Obviously, it's inexcusable, and I've learned from my mistake. Apologise to the boys, and I spent some time on the bench as well, so it's deserved. But I've learned from my mistake, and obviously it's very nice to be back in the team and winning.
And working alongside someone like Juan Mata, tell us a little bit about that and how that partnership is going to play out for Victory and for you, do you think, this year?
Yeah, honestly, as everyone knows, he's a great person, great footballer, and honestly, I sit with him every morning at breakfast, so it's become normal. But when you see some of the things he does on the field, then you realise it's not normal to have this guy in your team. So again, tonight he was excellent, and the last weeks he's been a joy to watch. So thank you, Juan, for being with us.
I mean, so say all of us, to be honest. It's great, and we've spoken as well before about how good it is to have not just a marquee player of his calibre here and playing well, but also the way he's going about it. Juan Mata, so humble, buying in, and just a core part of everything they're trying to do with the football as well, which we'll break down soon enough with the Mactician a little bit later on. But I mean, these blokes would be pinching themselves, right, Tommy?
Oh, absolutely. And I think, you can just tell from Genro's interview just then how down to earth he is, and the fact that, day to day you don't really notice that he's that big game player and had that huge experience at the biggest clubs in the world because he's so humble. And I think, often, when you see his class on the field, that's when it hits you how good of a player he is and how good of attribute he is for the team. But I just think, the league's lucky to have him, as you said, and we're starting to see finally what he can do when he's used properly.
It's the small details in his game, and as you said, we'll look into that later. But you often wonder, when you get a player of his age who's done everything they've done, are they going to come here for the right reasons? You can tell from the moment he got here, he was finding out about the history, about the league, the club. He was really invested, and you can tell he cares. And even talking about can he invest in this country, in this league. That's what you want, someone who really buys in, and he's got so much experience to give to these, I wouldn't even say not just the kids, everyone over here on things we can do.
I don't want to be a broken record on this, but if you're a Wanderers person and you're seeing this unfold this season, I mean, how are you feeling? I mean, everything we've just said here, they had that in their lap right there and didn't maximise what they had. And
Matamise.
yeah. And you can understand a little bit. They had a good season last year. They didn't necessarily need him, so to speak.
Yeah.
But, gee, they'd like to have him now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think if you look at the way that the season's gone for them, obviously in last place, which is very grim reading for them. Yes, they have missed a lot of opportunities this season so far, but I think the problems for the Wanderers are massive. I think if you look at their squad and the makeup of it, I think the balance isn't quite right because, they've got so many good midfield players, the likes of Ugarkovic, Brillante, Thurgate, but these are players who are very measured with their approach and they like to keep the ball and probably don't take too many risks going forward. Then you've got Barbarouses and Borrello, who are counter-attacking players. So I don't think they're the perfect fit for each other because the styles of football they play aren't necessarily complementing each other. And I think you're seeing that on the pitch. And, obviously they're in a bit of a hole now and coming up against the informed Victory. It's not a team you want to be playing at this stage in the season.
That's true. And throw into that mix as well Dylan Shaluna, who, before he did his ACL last season, everyone was looking at as like, wow, that's a player. So you've got 4 really good central midfield type players. In Borrello and even Kriev and Barbarouses, you have Alu Kuol, who is a striker, but those 3 others are not. They can play striker, but they're not number 9 strikers.
No.
I've always preferred Borrello as a wide player, like he was, I think, in your era at Brisbane Roar with Jamie McLaren in front of him. Like he can play striker, but he's more of a creative player, in my opinion. So the pieces don't quite fit together for me. And yet, Macca, and you blokes will tear this up in a second as well, but they sit top of the table for XG. Now it means it means something. It means something.
What does it mean?
It doesn't mean to me that they should be top, or that they're generating the best chances in the competition at the moment. But it does, and when you look at some of these highlights as well, it does say they've been pretty unlucky.
Well, look, Budgeteer Krayev, I think I've said this before, that he must be thinking, what do I have to do this year to score a goal? He's been so unlucky. He's been getting into certain areas. A couple of other of his mates could probably think the same. But don't get us started on the XG. You can have 30 shots from outside the box and it adds up to 3 goals.
That's kind of what has happened with them, right?
That's what I mean. That's where I'm going with this, is that, there was certain games where, I think there was 3 games in a row where they had like 28 shots. But when you actually went back and looked at where the shots were coming from and how good of opportunities they were, most of them weren't. Yeah. So to go down that path, I'm with Adam Griffiths, mate. We're not controlled by robots. We're human beings and there's emotion.
That all said, though, we've just performed the analysis that is required with XG. You can't just take the number and look at it and say, that's what that means.
Yeah.
You look at the number.
The interpretation.
Yeah, and you interpret it correctly, as we have done. And what it says is they have been creating a lot of chances. Some of them have been really unlucky, but also some of them have been crap.
Yeah.
And they're not good chances. And if you're generating a lot of not good chances, you then have to look further down the pitch and where's things breaking down and why aren't they creating better chances.
So that's how you use XG.
You just exactly. Guys. I don't know why you're scared of XG.
But I think we could have come to that conclusion without using the word XG as well. I mean, that was just a bit of a side tangent. But anyway.
Yeah. All right, well, so much to look forward to. You blokes are too young to be that against XG. That's for the old fogies, mate. Yeah. The dinosaurs. You're not dinosaurs yet.
Sure.
Or are you?
You see my hair?
Very good. So super pumped for that game. We'll touch on what happened on Tuesday night, boys. Melbourne City versus Brisbane Roar. A scrap, of course. As you can set your watch to it. And a much-needed goal there for Maxi Capito. Has been quiet for the last few weeks. But what do you make of this one overall, Tommy?
Yeah, I think it was important for Melbourne City's perspective to get back to winning ways because it's been a tough kind of 3 weeks for them. Since the ACL campaign came to a pause, they've really, the wheels, I wouldn't say they fell off, but they definitely weren't playing the same as they were earlier in the season, and this was a huge result for them. And Max Caputo back on the score sheet, and we saw he was dropped for the last game, and I really liked Vidi's comments after the game when he was talking about why he dropped Caputo, and he was saying he's such a young player and they've got to use the whole squad. He really took the pressure off him, and in this game he repaid him by getting a goal, so it was great to see. Let's
not talk about all these 2 handballs. That one to me is all day a handball. Yeah. Leans towards the ball, uses his arm. The other one potentially as well could be a handball, and then the goal that was disallowed as well. There's 3 calls in that game that
particularly the foul on Atkinson, or that Atkinson committed, that was not a foul. That should have been a goal 100%.
I think he just nips in and kicks the ball away, and then, was it Fracas or Falcanis, kicks his foot as he passes the ball. But then Michael Valkanis has said that they've missed out on so many penalties this year. Well, he will be chalking another 2 up there after this game and saying, see, the referees hate us.
Yeah.
Just quickly on City, I think we all thought this little period of home games for them, they'd be doing better than what they are. The games haven't been great to watch as well. Last night was a bit of a tough watch. The one against Sydney was a tough watch. They're not functioning as I think we all know they can. Having said all that, though, I still feel very comfortable in saying they'll be top 4 minimum at the end of the year.
We think they're a quality team, don't we? They've had lots of possession in these games. And again, we talk about Western Sydney with a lot of shots from outside the box. It's been like that for Melbourne City recently as well. They haven't really been creating these clear-cut chances that, you're going, oh, that's got to be a goal. Yeah. They're getting around the edge of the box. They're cutting inside and block shots. They're not really breaking into the box and exposing defences and getting their players into really clear-cut goal-scoring opportunities.
And I think Kuhn's probably one player who we know how important he is for them, and I think he's been slightly off the boil in the last month, which is, that's probably a big reason why they're not creating those chances, I think.
Yeah. Let's look at Macarthur as well, guys. A 1-1 draw with Auckland for them, and they're taking that form, which brings their undefeated streak to 6 games into a clash with Sydney FC this weekend, which should be another absolute cracker. They've also got Mitch Duke up their sleeve, ready to roll pretty soon.
Yeah.
What a luxury for a team that has so much quality and experience in terms of their midfielders. Bratton, Caceres, 2 of the best in the comp. Sawyer doing really well. You've now got Mitchell Duke to throw into the mix, as well as their impressive youngsters.
Throw Liam Rose into that.
To say that.
Yeah.
He has been exceptional this year. I've liked Liam over the year. I think he's been a steady player. This year, I think Mile Serjovski, whatever he's done, is getting the best out of him. He has been one of their best players across the board for the season. And I think he was a little unlucky not to start the game. And then I think they realised at half-time that they got that wrong, bring him on. And all of a sudden, a little bit of a shift in him in the midfield. And they started to control the game in the second half against Auckland.
I was going to say, him, Caceres and Bratty, what 3 better players in the league to control the game of football than those 3? I think when you got those 3 in your team, you can always play the game on your terms. Yeah. You add Mitch Duke into that and what they're doing so far, and it's a pretty compelling argument to say that they're going to take some beating this season. So I think a lot of people are sleeping on them.
A couple of weeks ago too, Millet said there might be more people coming in January. So if that's the case, then look out.
What odds that this bloke can win the Golden Boot?
That's a big ask. But at the same time, what's top scorer at the moment? 4 or 5 goals?
5. It's not that hard to claw back. He's got all these players who we've just spoken about will be feeding him, and he'll be hungry. He's got a World Cup ahead of him.
Is that what he's saying in that picture? He's going, I'm giving you a 5-goal head start. Look out, here I come.
Could be, but that's an exciting addition to the league, and he needs to play well to obviously keep himself in the World Cup calculations. Yeah. Then there's the ACL2 for the Bulls to sink their teeth into, so that's pretty exciting. Less exciting, some sad news over this little period is on the injury front. 2 for Newcastle Jets, Christian Bracco, but also Alex Badalato, who we're going to talk about now, and shattering, to be honest, boys. Started the season really well, inconsistent in terms of some games not great, some games best player on the park and by some distance.
Yep.
And as we were talking about earlier, the Jets would have been looking at him this season as not only a central figure in everything they're trying to do on the field, but at least a guaranteed $1 million at the end of it off the field. So not only has that blown a budget in their team, it's blown a hole in their budget. Yeah. Did I say blown a budget in their team?
You did. Yeah. We let it slide.
Well, you know what I meant. We're still getting back into it after Christmas. A lot of things, thank you very much. But that's just shattering. And then on the personal level as well, this guy seems like he's about to explode.
Yeah.
And a familiar story, unfortunately, for Australian football talents of that ilk, that category. It sucks, man.
Yeah, I mean, what a goal this was, obviously, earlier in the season. But I think, it's never nice to see anybody do terrible injuries, let alone a young player with the world at his feet. In this case, both of them have. But I think with Alex Badalato, he's such a technical player. And, the thing that separates him from other players is how he views the football game in terms of, he sees things that other people don't see, and his technique. They're his 2 things. I think that ACLs and coming back from an ACL is often more difficult when you're a fast player or a winger, an explosive player. I think that's the one thing he can take light out of the situation is that, if he can get back and get strong, he can really see, kind of set this as a defining moment in his career where he did everything right, became the ultimate professional, physically became an animal, and I think that we can see him get back to what he's capable of doing.
And this is drawing a very, very long bow. The only silver lining I can say out of their injuries is that they're together.
Yeah.
Because it's a lonely recovery when you've done an ACL or a long-term injury and you're on your own. There's two guys who have done it at the same time. They'll have the same recovery. They'll be able to bounce off each other and push each other to get through it. And that, what you just there, push each other to go, come on, we're going to be better and stronger and better, when we get back from this. I know that's a long bow to draw, but it is a lonely place when you're doing a recovery. So at least they've got each other to help push each other to get through.
Yeah. Fingers crossed Alex Battlelardo can get back to the player we know he is and is becoming as soon as possible. All the best to you, Alex, if you're watching this.
And you too, Christian.
Yeah, and you also, Christian. My mistake. But now we're going to hear from your boss, boys. This is Mark Milligan talking after your recent win over Auckland.
Yeah, of course. I think, obviously the result is satisfying, but, that we had to show a different type of performance today. And I think while we had a full complement of players, I think we played some excellent football. We set our intention very, very early on and scored 2 wonderful goals, and then you saw the flip side to the game, and the boys really dug in and worked hard, and that's what we require of them all the time. It was just a sort of a different version of us today.
Good signs and a good win for the Jets. It will be interesting to see, though, how they cope with those injuries that we just mentioned. So a watch on them. But for now, a watch on Daniel McBreen, the tactician, who is going to chop up what makes Juan Mata such a special player, Macca. And as we were saying in the green room before, he's never been a player who's faster than anyone, stronger. He doesn't have an outstanding attribute, aside from maybe his ability to read the play and understand. But it's despite those sort of physical limitations, he still just stands out.
Yeah, exactly right. It's the physical limitations are improved massively by the brain that he's got in his head, the football brain. So we're going to have a look at some of the little details that turn good players into great players and things that you might not think about. Now, if we pause it right there, as he's coming into shot here, just watch this as Mata coming towards the ball, but watch him look over his shoulder. He scans once now as the ball comes. Now he's scanning again. Now as he receives the ball, he has another quick look. And with those 3 scans now, he knows he's taken his touch on his left foot, preferred foot. Now he's scanning, looking, going, now I know where the runner is. And he's got the ability to find the run. Look at this. It curls it outside and goes to Velupillate. Now look at this run here. Comes away from the space he wants to go into so he can come back onto the ball and be ready to attack it with his left foot. Okay, touch doesn't quite get it in the goal, but the angle of the run, that small detail, changes everything about when that ball comes to him. He's allowed to now run straight directly at the ball and he's on his preferred foot. Small details to draw defenders away as well.
If he doesn't do it, there's no chance.
Correct. Correct. If he runs in a straight line, it's a much difficult ball because it's coming across his body. It's a much harder ball to strike, but those little details change the whole perspective.
And I think you also have to say, when he first received that ball from the centre-back, I think that Victory's done well to play to his strengths because they're willing to give him the ball. Even if there's players around him, he's technically good enough to handle that situation and he knows his surroundings, as you said. But that's the thing Melbourne Victory is doing well, is they're just giving him the ball. And I think last year at the Wanderers, they weren't doing that. I think that's why it was so frustrating for him.
And the other thing that we'll notice, I notice a lot in the A-League too, is when he comes and gets that ball, he doesn't go beyond that line of defenders. He's in line or just be off the shoulder for them. So they have to then drop to come back to try to stop him. Rather than him going in front and making it easier for them, he's just off the shoulder, just in behind, and that gives him a little bit more space as well. Now, let's have a look at this one. This is his assist in the same game. Now, we thought this was a play. Now look here, he's going to everyone. Go in, I'm going to play this to the back spot. He can see Velupillate on the far post there. Now, we thought this was a set play. He's just recognised that in the moment, but he also has the gravitas to say to everyone, "Oi, all of you get out the way, go in here because I'm going to put it on that spot." And when I also have the ability to go, I am going to put it on that spot. And he stepped up and did it. And Velupillate standing at the back post unmarked, but he created that. because he has that aura that they all go, well, what he says we do. We're going to do what he says.
And the technique on that pass as well, he didn't whip it like he often would at a corner. He knows that he's going to have to try and shoot this first time. So the way he flights the ball was so that it was more easy to volley as well. So I think that, the detail that he has in those moments and his technical quality was on display for sure.
Gravitas is important as well, because how many other players go like, and the others are like, no, mate, what do you think?
We're fine. We know what we want to do. Yeah.
We'll just follow the playbook, thanks, pal.
Exactly right. Now we'll have another look on here. This is another assist in the game. Now here, great first touch. Now as he turns here and has a look, you can see scanning, a little bit of deception. Now look here, opens up his hips so he can go backwards or he can go into the central area. So that drags the midfielder away just a little bit to open up the space. When he plays that ball, he looks to go get it again, but realises I'm not going to get it. Watch his reaction straight away. Jean Ro's in trouble. I need to come and help. I'm not a guy who's in the middle who's going to get a header. Now, before the ball even comes again, he's come and he's scanning, looking. That now means he knows there's no one here and he can let that ball roll across his body rather than stopping it. And now he's got his head up again, the composure to pick out a player. It looks simple, but it's the mind of a footballer who knows exactly what's happening and can react quickly at all times. Not only react, but be proactive and know where people are going to be so I can move and get there better.
And that's another sign of the top players is they make the simple things, the difficult things look simple. And I think he's a great example of that because everything he's doing is technically not easy to do. If you're sprinting 100 miles an hour into an area with traffic, to take a good touch and play the right pass is not an easy thing to do, but he seems to do it almost every time. But I think another thing that's worth mentioning is he's developing a great relationship with Denny Jean Ro, I think, in the midfield because both players like to look for those short little combinations and I think they're the perfect foil for each other and I think other teams are finding them both too hot to handle and we saw it for that goal there as well.
Yeah, and he doesn't overcomplicate things. Do the simple things well and it takes you a long way. Then you can sprinkle his little bit of magic dust on as well. Let's have a look at his another assist of his here. Now, this is one where he picks up the ball here. Now, this is a perfect training drill, 3v2. Now, if he plays that ball now where you see a lot of players do it, they'll play that ball across here. The defender here can move across and cut that off. So you're always telling with your kids when you get the ball, if there's space, you need to drive and commit a defender. And watch the defender. As soon as the defender stops on his drop, he just stops there. He knows he's got him out of place. The perfectly weighted pass for Santos to get it on, open his hips and use his right foot. Not overhit so it's out on his left and he's stretching, but he commits the defender, rolls it in just enough for him to open the hips and put it away. Perfect timing of the pass, perfect weight of the pass, and just made the goal look like it was so simple.
These are the things that actually are genuinely simple. This and the previous moment where he realised there was space so he could let the ball roll across him. How teachable are these things? Because these are the things that I think a lot of Aussie players don't have, that little final detail of awareness or a decision not to do something or to do it because of the circumstances around you that's created two chances, opportunities that otherwise wouldn't exist.
Well, these are the things that when you're teaching kids that you will teach them, it's repetition over and over and over again. And the good players, mental good players, they will pick it up quicker. And then obviously their development is quicker because they can pick up these things. Some players, it might take them, like Tommy, it would have taken him 200 times to be told to do something before he did it. But some players pick it up a lot quicker and that means their growth is exponential. And then these are the players that end up making those critical little factors and making the game become theirs.
And I think that the foundations for him, as you're saying, to let the ball run across his body comes down to technique because when you've got that much confidence in your own technique, you can get your head up higher. You don't have to be worried, can I control this ball? You know you're going to control it. I think that's where what separates those kind of players. And if you think of an Australian example, someone like Aaron Moy, he had outstanding technique and he was also a player that could do that because of his technique. I think that was the foundation that allows these other things to happen.
Not going to respond to the McBreen drive-by. That's very mature of you, Tommy. That's good.
I get a lot of it, so it's just white noise.
Very good. Good areas from you, McBreen. That was enlightening stuff. Good to just, chop it up and realise it's the little things that separate the good from the great, as you put it. Let's look ahead to the fixtures we've got coming up this weekend in the A-League. Plenty going on, as always, of course, at Brisbane. The game there at home to Auckland. There'll be music. There'll be soccer darts.
Yep.
which I'm pretty sure... Look, I don't want clarification on that.
Yeah.
There will be soccer darts. There's also a giant inflatable field at the Northern Plaza, so if you're at the game, check that out. Victory Wanderers, of course, the Juan Mata revenge match, which we've spoken about multiple times. Macarthur Sydney, which we've also touched on. That's Caceres and Bratton, the former Sydney FC midfield nucleus up against their old side. It's also Macarthur's annual charity match in support of the Sony Foundation. So they're bringing back the Charity Cup for that, which is fantastic. Another grudge match between Perth and the Mariners. It's Brian Kaltak against his old side. And hasn't he come good again, Brian Kaltak, the Perth Glory, which is great to see. Wellington Adelaide, a fascinating game when you consider that Wellington are coming off that 3-0 win that we spoke about earlier, and Adelaide a shocking 4-0 loss at home to the Mariners. I'm not sure what happened there, but they're going to have to respond to it. And then, of course, we've got Melbourne City and Newcastle, which should hopefully be a good game. City at their best are a very entertaining team, and Newcastle, whether they're at their best or not, are always an attacking team. The box office Jets are back, ladies and gentlemen, so don't miss that game either. Fair bit to look forward to.
There are some good games. Obviously, Victory against Wanderers, which we spoke about at the start of the show, but I think that game is going to be huge. I mean, for the Wanderers, if they lose that game as well, how much pressure is going to be on Alan Staj? And for Victory, they can really kind of announce themselves as maybe title contenders. So.
Yeah. And for me, you talk about title contenders, Macarthur versus Sydney.
Yeah.
Sydney are a bit flat at the moment. Macarthur with their tails up, 6 undefeated. That's another big one. Like that could define, I think. I know it's early to say, but one going up, one looks like they're stagnating a little bit. Could be pressure.
Glad we're not doing tips this week, because I wouldn't have a freaking clue what's going to happen. Anything could happen in any of those games. Let's hear quickly now from Juan Mata, just talking about the improvement in this Melbourne Victory team.
Well, I knew from the beginning that we have a great squad. We have a lot of players coming this season, new players from different teams, so it takes time to assemble. But I think we're showing what we are capable of. And, I said it last week and I say it again, it's very important that everyone is contributing. And even when we were not having results, I could feel in training that it was very close. And now, thankfully, we are getting the results that I think we deserve. But also, we know that we have done nothing. We are not in the position that we want to be. We want to be up top, and we will try to be there at the end.
What a guy. Get around him. Juan Mata. And we're not done talking about him on this show either just yet, as we welcome Nalin back to the desk. Man, he's killing it. And there's a conversation that he might be maybe the best big-name player that Victory's ever had.
Absolutely. He's definitely up there, and he's really been the main focus of the show. It's not every time we get to talk about Juan Mata in the A-League, so we're going to soak it up. And there is a conversation to be had. Could he be the best marquee? But I want to talk a little bit about him now coming up against his former side in Western Sydney Wanderers. We all know it didn't really pan out well for him. And there's been a bit of a history of player-coaching rivalries, and he's too humble to admit he'd want to get one over Alan Staj. But who remembers the time when Terry Antona scored that goal from inside the centre circle? Now, this in itself, scoring against his former coach, is a statement. Nominated for a Pushkas Award.
So good. And look at the score,
It was a close game, yeah.
Sensational. There you go.
There you
Telephone to Marco Ridan. If you're Marco, you're absolutely fuming. Doesn't flinch. And perhaps the most iconic is Milos Ninkovic just wanting to make peace with everyone at Sydney FC after a Sydney derby. And Steve Corica, very famously,
here, really? Yeah.
"You're not our player anymore, mate. Get out of here." This was captured on the All Access cameras. And look, imagine Juan being in that position.
Carrying out. What is the charge?
And Milos is the nicest guy in the world too. That, for Stevie to go at him like that. Rivalry.
Fair play.
Yeah.
But I can't see Juan Mata doing anything like that. He's too classy, as
not
you
to
said.
that level.
And I don't know, but the thing is as well, when he played for Manchester United, played for Chelsea, he's played against his former clubs before, some of the biggest, most scrutinised clubs in the world. I think that he's confident enough in himself to just focus on the job. I don't think that'll even be come into his mind frame in this
I'm
game.
a little bit more of a sceptic.
I think we've all got an ego.
Yeah.
He might have a really small, tiny, under control ego, but I reckon it's still in there this week. And he's been like, remember that Stagic bloke from last season? He didn't play me.
I think you always want to prove people wrong, don't you? That don't put you in your best light. So he might not show it out, will he? And he's a very polite guy. I reckon there's a little bit inside him. If they win, we'll be like, "Whee."
He scores. Pick up the phone. Now, it's January, right? So a lot of talk has also been about transfers, players coming in and out. But I'll tell you one person Melbourne Victory will not be signing. That is Roderick Miranda's son. Let's have a listen to this.
Is this your little one?
Yeah, my little one, yes.
What's your name, buddy?
Hello.
And is your dad a good footballer, you reckon?
Yes.
Are you going to play for Melbourne Victory one day?
Never.
Never.
He doesn't like sports.
Fair enough.
It's not even a maybe. It's a never, ever happening.
Emphatic.
You two have kids. If your kid, was being interviewed on TV, wanting to represent the family name, would you be a bit upset signing him up anyway?
I can tell you right now, my youngest son would say exactly the same thing. He has no interest in team sports whatsoever, and that's fine. That's great.
Yep.
Little rat.
And my kid can't even say a word yet, so we'll see.
Doesn't have an option at the moment.
Look, I think Miranda's kid might struggle in the A-League at the moment. It just looks a little bit, it's a pretty physical league.
It's a young league.
That's true.
Our young is too young. Let's have that debate. Now, sticking to a bit of family ties, ending on a bit of a feel-good story. Jai Rose, 18 years old, made his debut for Western Sydney Wanderers, and his dad, current assistant coach for the Mariners as well. Now, Macca, you have a pre-existing sort of relationship.
Look, I taught him everything he knows. Look, obviously, Josh is a good friend of mine. We played together, and I've seen Jai develop from just a little kid, very, very young kid, and watched him develop and grow. And, you knew this day was going to come. Very good player. He's been around the ID under-20 national team games. But, look, he's had a very good role model, and most people think that's his dad. But if you check my socials, when he was just about 4 or 5 years old, he scored a goal and he pulled out a Daniel McBreen celebration, much to Josh's dismay. So his number one idol that he has posters on the wall was always Daniel McBreen, isn't that right, Jai?
Poor kid.
That was probably the turning point for him. The lowest ebb of his junior career. His old man would have taken him in afterwards and said, look, that celebration, never again. And look, he's just taken off as a player since then. So, yeah.
I think you've got to say it's a good get from the Wanderers to get him because, but I also think a little bit sad that the Mariners let him go because, you want to see these young players play for their hometown clubs, but fair play to the Wanderers, they got him and all the best.
Yeah.
For sure.
Good. All right, Nalini, thank you very much. Good to have you back. Good for us all to be back.
Yeah.
Too long, the couple of weeks break on Total A-Leagues, but we're back, baby. The league never stops. I have absolutely no idea what's going to happen this coming weekend. None of us do. That's the beauty of it. We'll see you next week.